Support your Hobbit hobby.
Welcome, Strategy Battle Gamers, to another GBHL YouTube video. You are here with GBHL James and
Damian.
Damian, special guest. We are still at Damian's pad and we are still unboxing tons of Damian's stash to get content for you guys. That's right. And what are we going to be unboxing today?
This is quite cool. We're unboxing the trolls. 3 trolls.
Now, this is actually quite exciting. This is I think that these, just without even looking, are great.
They're some gorgeous plastic.
They go great. They look just like the movies.
I think 2 out of 3 of them do.
Yeah. They look really, really good, and the paint jobs on them look good, and you tend to see a lot of really good paint jobs of them on the forums.
Yeah, I'm terrified about painting them. I'm not good at painting large areas of flesh.
Yeah, but a lot of people have done a really good job, and at the tournament today I saw Murtau's.
He had one, didn't he?
He had one. Yeah.
He had Tom, didn't he?
And this is the one that drew with DMS of Shadow and Flame.
Yes.
The painting competition.
It wasn't that model though, was it?
It was that model, and it was absolutely. You
didn't
get to see it. It was stunning.
Yeah, it was stunning. It was great. Yeah, with the log on the base and the mud.
All the fungi and the mud. It was really absolutely stunning. So I've already seen.
And to draw with DMS.
Yeah.
Standing work.
That is really good going. That is really good. And Murtau, by the way, is an absolute top bloke. If you get to play him, what a legend. I actually felt a bit sorry for him in our game because I skirmished with him, but.
Did the running around and things, shooting bows at him.
I didn't want to risk that.
Classic Clark.
The card came out. So we're going to be unboxing these trolls now. We're going to talk a little bit about what they are like as miniatures. Are they fine cast or are they plastic?
No, plastic.
Plastic. Woohoo!
They're also people. Oh yeah, I'm straight to that.
Yes.
People. Trying to channel it. People say they're expensive because they were £350, but the Isengard troll is 25 quid, and that's one troll, which should. And people, I'm not saying people say that's cheap, but no one seems to moan about the cost of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I didn't think when these came out they're about 17 quid each. I guess that's not too bad. And you buy this from.
Is that Games Workshop price as well?
Yeah, that's retail. Yeah, so you buy them from a
local gaming store. You've got 20% off that.
They're on eBay a lot. For 30 or 40 quid.
Yeah.
Brand new, which I don't buy it now. So if you want them,
yeah, got lots of opportunities to get them. So we're diving straight into this pack. You got that smell of new models, yeah.
It's not as good as a new box or a new book.
And you get
instructions.
So instructions, that's interesting. What other boxes have we had instructions? We've got instructions with the Rivendell Knights.
Yeah, they're in the Escape from Goblin Town for all the dwarfs, the multi-pot kits and stuff.
This is an assembly guide, which
3 sprues. I'm guessing 1 per troll.
1 per troll would make sense. Here we go. These are the instructions how to put these trolls together. Now the 3 trolls. Can you name them without looking?
Tom, Bill, and Bert.
That's right. And you wouldn't be able to know their special rules without checking, of course, because they're not different ones. So we'll have a little look at the plastic first. Now there've been a couple of plastic monster kits. Yeah, well, thank you very much. The Eagles, for example.
Oh, gorgeous!
Absolutely gorgeous plastic kit.
You know you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm becoming a parody of myself. Seriously.
They are. The Eagles are stunning. Yeah. GW have been making nice Eagles for 20 years. I remember the Wood Elf metal ones coming out and they're great, but when they came out they just blew everything away. They're just stunning, and I really enjoyed painting them up.
And these trolls look equally, I think, in a lot of ways. And I think it's easier to do.
Faces.
Easier to do. Yeah. If you look at the faces, look at.
I've got one here.
There's enough detail there to pick up reasonably easily.
Yeah, well, the plastics are actually very good. If you look at like the Escape from Goblin Town plastics,
they're brilliant.
They're brilliant. Which kind of annoyed me when Tariel and Legolas came out, and they're not as good.
They're not as good as Thorin's Company.
Thorin's Company.
Thorin's Company is brilliant.
And I don't get that. I don't get why they wouldn't be the same thing.
Yeah, and these look like they deserve to be in those scenarios with Thorin's Company. They're really, really good. Okay, so I'm not sure which troll I've got in my hand.
The faces are stunning. The faces are really, really good.
The expressions are really well picked up, aren't they?
And I like the fact that this guy's got his mouth open. You can see that, which I presume means the neck part's going to have a tongue or something.
Yeah,
so that's his neck part, and I don't know if I tilt it that way you can see the tongue sticking out.
That's a really good little bit of detail.
That sort of stuff's cool because it really gives it a real depth.
It's right down to just sort of the little sort of stretch lines on the skin and things that washes are going to pick up really easily, and highlighting is going to pick up easily. Here we go. So these are going to be gorgeous. I've heard about any assembly problems. Sometimes people can have assembly problems with sort of large plastic kits.
I haven't.
I've not heard of any
I've
problems.
seen lots of people assembling them and painting them, and no one mumbling. I imagine with plastic. Oh, I remember there was some people saying that the hands didn't join up. You would get a little hole around the arm.
Little hole around the arm.
Because you can swap the hands, can't you? You can assemble them with either the cutlery or the logs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I think there was some grumbles that they got up, but you know, a little bit of green stuff will fix that.
And when you assemble these, do you think you'll go for cutlery or logs? That's a tough one because
logs.
Yeah.
I think.
Cutlery looks cool.
Yeah, the cutlery.
Very,
can you do anything with the cutlery?
In terms of raws, well,
can a fork piercing strike?
Oh,
yeah.
We're getting into the realms
yeah.
of.
What about a log? Is a log?
Yeah, but what about the pointy bit of the end of
the pointy bit
an erect sword?
Yeah. No, obviously I'm being farcical.
Of course. So we'll have a little look at the different profiles because they've got 3 different and quite unique profiles.
That one up here. Have I done that one? I haven't done that one.
Oh, that one as well. Yeah.
That's the campfire bits you got down there.
Yeah, you also get a campfire as part of it. We'll discuss those special rules
front
too.
Back of the body.
Now, I actually remember Jamie said that he was considering for the 400-point tournament in Huddersfield at Awkward Battles. He was actually considering taking the 3 trolls because I think that together they come to 390 or 90.
390, yeah.
Yeah, 390, and the campfire, unfortunately, is 15. And the campfire's got some really interesting rules. So we're going to have a little look now. We're going to start off with, as it starts in the book, which is Bill, the troll. Bill the troll. So should we bring the book up?
Yeah,
I'll hold the book.
Why don't you be the bookmaster?
Then I can look like I know what I'm talking about.
It's quite fun. I've had these for ages now. I'm opening them. So it's nice to see my new toys.
I'm looking forward to seeing you jobs because Damian's a really good painter. Check out his whip threads on the One Ring.
That's not what it sounds like.
Okay, so we've got Bill here. Okay, so he's 150 points. So he's quite expensive. Would you compare him to points wise? Then that's a Glorfindel armoured on horse, isn't it?
A Radagast. It's a wizard.
Radagast is a wizard.
What else is up there? Bolg and Azog are 175. So you're in that kind of kind of area.
They are expensive, and they're not independent heroes. They can lead Goblin Town, can't they?
No.
Or are they independent?
I don't think they can.
They're
their own army list.
They are their own army
list. Yeah, the
list.
3 trolls are their own army list. They can't lead goblins.
Right, okay.
So they're not independent heroes. They could be a leader.
Right, okay, yeah.
But they can't lead troops.
Very interesting, very interesting. Okay, so movement 6, of course. Bill is actually 5'7". So that's 5'7". That's pretty good.
It's good for a troll.
So that's better than a lot of
talk about
heroes.
Your Mordor troll. Was he?
Mordor troll chieftain is
the chieftain.
Chieftain, he's 7, isn't he? Yeah, he's 7. He's got 5+ shoot value. He's also strength 7, defense 7, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, 4 courage, and he's got a 3-1-1 in the key areas. So, how does that compare to a Mordor troll chieftain? Is a Mordor troll chieftain 8/8 or?
Troll chieftain's defense 8, I think. Not massive on the Mordor. Do you need Jamie back? Well, not massive up on the Mordor. I think he's fight 7, strength 7, possibly strength 8, defense 8.
Yeah, maybe. 3 attacks.
You also, the fact they've got monstrous power, that I think kind of brutal power attacks kind of mitigates against low fate and stuff. Mm-hmm. They're likely to be able to dish out more and get out of situations where they might get wounded in, possibly. Yeah. You know, 3 wounds, defense 7 is pretty good.
Yeah, these are pretty tough guys. Pretty tough guys. But the most interesting thing about all the trolls are their special rules, which are incredibly fluffy fun. Have you read through these yet?
I have read through them.
So we're going to start off with the magic purse,
which is not in the film, and I think is one of the wonderful things. I think it's good that it's not in the film. I think it's exactly the sort of thing that I think Peter Jackson doesn't get enough credit for. That I love the Hobbit book to pieces, but a lot of the twee stuff, everyone goes, "Oh, you changed the book," but he also took out some of the things that would absolutely be ridiculous. So in the book, when Bilbo is trying to crawl around the Hobbit, crawl around the trolls, he gets caught by one of their purses. It's a purse that catches Bilbo, like a money pouch catches him, and that isn't in the film, which I think is a good thing, because that's a bit silly. But it is in here.
It's a really interesting rule as well, and it takes away one of the problems of taking a big base monster that's a lot of points, which is going to eat up a lot of points, is it prevents enemy models from trapping him and doubling strikes to attack, which is really useful.
It's very good.
It's
Particularly
really
bearing in
useful.
mind that you're talking about 390 points.
Yeah.
Small army, you will be outnumbered, you will be trapped.
Of course you will. Of course you will. So that's a really good little rule there.
It also perhaps implies that at some point the magic purse was going to be in it.
Yeah.
It's possibly going to be in the film.
Yeah.
I would guess.
That is
Reading
possible.
it from script.
That is possible.
Mordor Troll, strength 8, defence 8? Yeah?
Yeah.
Tom Harrison says yes.
Tom Harrison says yes, so we'll go for that. So they've also got Keep Them For Later. Okay, Keep Them For Later is a really interesting...
All three of them have this.
All three have this. This is a really interesting rule, isn't it? What does Keep Them For Later do?
I think it means if they win the fight, instead of striking or using a brutal power attack, so essentially get a third choice, they can stuff, essentially the fluff is they stuff them into a sack, and it counts as if they have been paralysed. And paralyse is a horrific spell. It's a horrible spell.
And what else in the game can paralyse?
Barrow White.
A barrow, yeah.
And the
Spider.
Mirkwood spiders. Who do it as a throwing weapon.
We've got Tom Harrison behind the camera right now doing an impression of a spider spitting venom.
That's the Mirkwood spider. Yeah, I think they might be the only things. But yeah, they can paralyse, and it instantly knocks them down. They, worse than being prone, if someone then charges them, they automatically win and they just roll to wound, which is just horrific. And then at the end of the fight phase, they have to roll a 6 to stand up, otherwise they stay like that. It's horrible.
So when a troll stuffs something in its bag, where does that unit go? You just stay where it is.
I think it says you replace the model. You replace the Thorin's model with a suitable model. Now, I think most people would just lie him down or something.
Lie him down.
Yeah, you can replace him with the barrel model.
Does he
could be the barrel one. That might work.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a barrel. Stuff him into a barrel.
Well, and then because he's stuffed in a sack, does he then move around with the troll?
No, because he's paralysed.
Oh, so he just can't be paralysed on the floor. You just leave him in the sack on the floor.
Yeah.
That just seems like a really good way of sort of nullifying some heroes.
It's a very good way of nullifying them, but then equally, if a troll's 1, he could rend normally against strength 4. So I think it's one of those times where you have to think, why would paralysing him be more useful? Maybe if you're coming up against Thorin, possibly. So you've only got 3 attacks. Needing 3s to wound, you're probably going to do 2, and he's got 3 fates. It might be better to paralyse him and take him out of the game for longer.
Yeah.
And then next turn, if they've got friends with them, they've got Hunter Orcs or Goblin Town, they just charge them and they all just automatically roll to wound.
Yeah.
Possibly something like that. But it's interesting to have another choice. That's what I like about it.
Yes.
That you can strike, or you can use the brutal power attacks, or you can do that, or you can use his own brutal power attack.
Yeah, but it's just incredibly full of flavour, isn't it? Very much like the books, the movies, and they do have their own special brutal power attacks. So remember, monsters in Hobbit rules, they've got brutal power attacks. They can rend, they can barge, they can hurl, which is all great. These trolls have their own special ones, just like Bayon has his own special.
He does, yeah. Bayon's monster killer rule.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Now, Bill has mince and fine brutal power attack. So, do you know what this does without me reading it?
Isn't it? No.
Okay, so you can do this instead of making strikes.
The strength, isn't it?
Choose a loser in the fight. That model and Bill roll a d6 and add their strength value. If Bill wins, that's like Bash.
It's the difference is the number of wounds.
Yeah. If Bill wins, the victim suffers a number of wounds equal to the difference, each of which may be prevented by a fate point in the usual way.
That's really good.
That's really actually quite good.
He's strength 7, isn't he?
Strength 7.
So against a hero, most heroes are going to be strength 4.
Strength 4.
He rolls a dice, and then say he rolls the same, you're going to do 3 wounds on him. Because the difference. And potentially you could do 8 wounds on him. 6 plus 3, and you could get 4 plus 1.
So that could be really...
9 wounds. Some wounds.
Would you like to be in the video, Tom Harris?
It could be very, very good. That's a viable choice,
yeah.
I think. Although you're risking against something like Rend, you're risking it on 2 dice rolls. Because you have to roll. You're obviously not automatically going to do 3, because you could roll 1, and then that gives you 4.
Yeah.
And then your opponent could roll a 5 or 6 and be more. So you could achieve nothing with it. And I don't know if I would gamble.
Yeah, I mean the only time maybe.
Rend.
I mean you could gamble if you needed to get the hero kill points and they still had their fate and then enough of their wounds.
It could be. It could be incredible.
You just think, right, okay, well I can't kill him here, and the game's about to end, or something's going to happen. I need to kill him to get the points.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Gamble, do that.
It's a fun. It's a fluff kind of. Yeah, why not? Let's go for it.
It's fluff. And talking of fluff, while we're here, we'll also talk about the campfire, which actually comes on the plastic sprue. And it's an actual campfire. This costs 15 points to take. So, after foists are deployed, before the first turn begins, place the campfire anywhere on the board outside of the good deployment area. If Tom, Bill or Bert are within 6 inches of the campfire, they receive the resistant to magic special rule and 1+ courage. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Is it 6 inches?
6 inches.
It's pretty good. It's great for a scenario, like the roast mutton scenario, because they're all in the middle. Points match game.
Not so great. Mind you,
where'd you put it?
You think it depends what points match. If you've got a hold ground or a high ground where you're going to have to contest an objective which is central, you obviously put it there.
I think doesn't it have to be deployed? It would. It could work with high ground. I think it's in the FAQ that it has to be deployed where the trolls deploy. So when they come on a hold ground, it would be in the corner.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's a good point. Outside a good deployment area, yeah. So where if you don't have a deployment area like a 1 to 3,
yeah,
4 to 6 kind of thing.
It would be good, but again, you then also mean that for it to work, you've got to keep your 3 trolls within 6 inches, and I imagine the rest of that's 400 points. So everyone else's arm would go, you know what, you be resistant to magic. We'll go and get the other 4 objectives.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, if you can at high ground, if you can place it in the middle of the hill. That would be pretty good.
Why not? Why not? So we're going to go on to the next troll now. Now this one's a little bit cheaper. It's 40 points cheaper. We're going on to Bert. So Bert's stat line is a little bit different. All of a sudden he loses one of his fights. He doesn't lose it obviously, but he's down
6. He's still up with Aragorn's bombers.
Yeah, he goes from 777 to being 666, but he's still got his 3 attacks, his 3 wounds. He's only got 3 courage, and instead of the 311, he's actually got 131. Okay, and there's a reason for this, and that's because of his lingering cold. And this is a really interesting and actually very effective rule.
What, the brutal power attack?
This isn't the brutal power attack. The lingering cold is the sneeze.
Oh, the will point thing, yeah. So that's why he's got the 3 will.
That's why he's got the 3 will.
He's a bat swarm or an immobilise or something like that.
Yeah,
he's not an immobilise, is it? Because he just does the 5 value. He's a bat swarm.
Basically, Bert's a lousy cold that simply won't go away, and he's likely to sneeze all over anyone again. So this is great, sort of fluffy stuff.
So good fluff.
It's solid. That's we love it. It's juicy. It's yummy. That's what we like.
It's tasty good.
Just like that roast chicken before and those roast potatoes, juicy and.
Just like that, yeah.
Oh my days! What was that? So yeah, during the fight, it involves him before making a dual roll. He can expend a will point to half fight value. I mean, that's brilliant.
It's very good. Again, it's the same. How if you bear in mind that you're going to probably what you're coming up against is a hero charging him with a bunch of chaff to strike up. That hero strikes up to 10 because that's how these things work. You then half it, goes down to 5. That's lower than his fight value, and suddenly that trapping situation isn't as awful. It's really good.
Yeah, it is really, really good. And he's also got his own brutal power attack to go along, which is very different. And again, just like in the books, etc., this one is roast them slowly. So the first one was mince them fine. This one is roast them slowly.
Because they're arguing over the ways to eat them.
Of course.
So their special rules are about their different
ways
to eat them. I
thought that you might go for the forks and stuff like that, knives and forks. And
I do.
Yeah, I thought that was a very useful.
But I just think that the logs look better. The logs look cool.
The logs do look cool.
That's nice.
You can magnetise them.
I've never done that.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people do. Damian Grantham does some really good. He's got magnetic royal guard, which I've seen, which are really clever. You'd never know. A little spoon. You got a little spoon.
Go for the spoon. So roast them slowly. When he wins the fight, he does this instead of making strikes, just like before.
Little fork.
You can choose a losing model in fight and remove it from play, replacing it touching the fire. Okay, so this one depends on having the campfire. Choose a losing model in the fire and remove it from play, replacing it touching the fire. That model is immediately set ablaze, as explained on page 83.
Set ablaze?
Set ablaze. So this is interesting. Have you ever come across this rule before?
I've never come across it. I know what it is.
Oh, well, I don't even know.
I think I know what it is.
Come on, should we do a little quiz? Since we're on the quiz together.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Set ablaze. I think they immediately take a hit. It's high. I think it's like a strength 9 hit. They immediately take one strength 9 hit. And then every turn they take another hit, which is like strength 6 or
strength 5. Very
strength
good.
5.
Very good.
But until you put it out, and you can put it out really easily. You
just have to lie the model must lie down, then crawl 1 inch.
So why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, very fluffy.
Why couldn't you? I guess if you set ablaze a model, you would then charge it, so it couldn't lie down. Because otherwise, you just always put it out the next turn.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun.
That could be quite fun. I'm looking. We should play around with it in the future.
What does it say? You move them to the campfire.
Yeah.
So maybe this is it. Maybe I don't know if this is what the troll players use, and it's obviously clearly not what the rule is intended for. But you deploy your campfire in the bottom left corner of your deployment zone. You then get your troll to go hunting whoever, Aragorn, do that and teleport him to the back corner of the board.
That's
it's like suddenly they're heroes 24
instead of
inches.
making strikes as normal if there is a fire within 6 inches.
Oh, within 6 inches. Good.
Found some nasty.
James, on that troll you had there, can you tell me anything interesting that strikes you about that troll? About Bert the troll?
It doesn't look like Bert the troll. It's not him, is it?
The lingering cold. Any thoughts?
Bert is a lingering cold.
Bert is not the troll.
Yeah.
In the film, to have the cold.
No, it's not.
It's Tom.
Have they changed this in an FAQ?
No. What's happened is that model.
Yeah.
The models and the names are right, and the special rules for those two are wrong. Because that is the weak one. If you look at this, if you look at Bert's rules, Bert is the weakest of the 3 trolls.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's Tom. Tom's the weakest. So the name Tom and that model, they do match the film, but the special rules are around the wrong way.
Interesting. And I kind of knew this, but you've explained it to me because Murtaugh, it was explained to me this earlier. He said, right, this is actually Tom, as it should be in the books, and I was kind of like, yeah, well, I didn't really think about it.
If you watch the film, those rules, the lingering cold and the being the weak one, are Tom, the name Tom, and the troll who looks like that. We'll hold it up. The gangly one.
There we go.
That's
troll supposed to be.
Is the one who should have the weakest stats.
Do you think players would be bothered if someone?
I don't think they would. I think Owen's played it like this before. I don't think they would because I don't think they'll know. The argument was basically there's so many complicated rules and they don't come up a lot. That if you put the 3 down and said that's Tom, that's Bert, and just swap them around, you don't actually. The only thing you need to change, you just swap the name and the picture around. That's all you have to change. And so as long as you're consistent, I would want to do it as a big lover of the film.
Yeah,
I would want to do it. But apparently, as I understand it, that was something to do with just again like kind of script rewrites and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like just not working from an early copy of script. It's kind of one of those like fun little tidbits.
Yeah, there you go. And you got it in this 24 minutes of video. 24 minutes for an unboxing. Hey, it's because we've got lots to say.
It's kind of 3 unboxings though, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is. Okay, so we've got Tom next, which is actually Bert. Is that right then? So
yeah, these rules should be for Bert.
So these rules should be for Bert. Okay, but it's Tom in the book. So if you've got your books open, which you should have, and doing a bit of painting, because that's what these videos are for, you can have a little look now. And if you look at Tom, he is 130 points. So it's a little bit more.
I didn't find the knife. There's the little knife.
Oh, there he is. Oh, it's like the skinning knife, isn't it?
It's the one that Bilbo uses to cut the rope with the.
That's right.
With the ponies.
Okay, so we're going to move on to him, and he's 130 points. So he's less expensive than Bill, but more expensive than Bert, as it is in the book. Okay, and we go back up here. We go back to the 7, 7, 7.
Yeah.
He's got the 3, 3, and 4. But he's got 2 instead of the 3.
Because he's slightly weaker than Bill.
Slightly weaker, of course. But again, the interesting thing about these trolls is to look at the special rules. And remember, all these guys, they cause terror, they throw stones. He's got that keep them for later rule. His one is squash him to jelly. Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay, Tom stamps himself about with a mixture of rage and greed, crushing his victims into jelly. When Tom wins a fight, he may opt to squash him to jelly instead of making strikes as normal. Every enemy model in the fight, not those supporting with spears or pikes, suffers a strength 7 hit. Any who survive are knocked prone.
Every enemy model in the fight has a strength 7 hit. That's good.
That's good.
It's good if he's trapped.
That's good if he's trapped.
That's what it's for. If you've got more than 3 models on you,
yep,
and you don't want to, if there's maybe not a good hurl line,
you might as well do it.
I guess if there are more models touching your base than you could hit with a hurl, you'd do it then.
Yeah. But they suffer a strength 7 hit as well, which is better than
which is more powerful than hurl. Yeah.
Which is more powerful than hurl.
So hurl's really good at definitely, or having a good chance of killing the model you hurl, and maybe doing some damage on the others. That'd be really good. And if you got, I mean, in a perfect world, you get something like Kazakh Guard on there, with defense 7 or something, and suddenly you're wounding all of them on 4s, you could just smash them.
You could absolutely smash them. You got a big group of one. It's really good, fun, special rules. Now, have you come up against the 3 trolls at all yet?
No.
Have you seen them in play?
Yeah, I've seen them a few times. Owen at Throne of Skulls last year, nearly a year ago, February last year, he had, and bear in mind this was 2 months after the Hobbit stuff came out, so it was really cool. He had the 3 trolls and then a Goblin Town army.
Wow.
And it looked awesome, and I really wanted to play it, and we just didn't get drawn against each other.
That's a shame.
And
how did he get on?
I think he did all right. I'm not sure. But he had 3 trolls on the Goblin King, so he had like 4 smashy monsters.
Absolute beasts, and then hordes.
And Adam Troke had the trolls at that tournament as well. And you sort of see them about. I think a few people had them. I think they're better than having 3 normal monsters, because they've got more variety. But it's it's the best part of 400 points.
It is expensive, but very fun.
I'd like to try them. I would at some point. Probably still not going to be till a couple of months, but I'd like to get them painted up and just run them against some stuff.
Yeah.
They'd be good. I think they'd be good against an army that didn't have a lot of shooting, that couldn't get those cheap, lucky shots on them early on.
I think Jamie played against a 3 troll army at 400 point in Huddersfield, and he actually had a bit of trouble against it at first, I think, with his foreign company.
Well, you've got 3, if you see a troll and you've got a few heroes, you can take it down. You can swamp it and strike it, but when you've got 3 of them that are all hurling every turn and stuff, good fun. Yeah,
very, very good fun. So that has been me and Damian talking about the 3 new Hobbit trolls, Bill, Bert and Tom. Hope you enjoyed that unboxing, guys. Remember to comment, like, share and subscribe below. Let us know what you thought about this unboxing video. Support your Hobbit hobby.
And happy strategy battle game.